Hello everybody, this is Ash from the Book Network with part 3 of my Nano Journal. Today is day 6, Sunday the 6th of November. 6 days into the Nano Challenge. So at the moment I have written 8,154 words. If I was adhering to the exact 1666 words per day count, then by the end of today I should technically have reached 9,996 words, which means I'm currently indebted to the challenge by about 1,800 words. I don't think that is going to happen today, but never mind. I will catch up at some point in some fashion. It's a lot harder to stay regimented on weekends than it is on weekdays, because on weekdays it's a simple case of just sitting in front of a laptop in the evening. But weekends are different. You're doing different things and you've got different routines going on. So I am feeling really positive about the book. I'm loving writing it. I'm loving the story I'm producing. Like I said in the last video, I think it's kind of miraculous that... Did I press record on this? Yeah, I did, sorry. I find it quite miraculous that this idea that's in my head is now coming to fruition, and I can kind of see the words as they unfold, as silly as that sound. But anyone else who's doing this challenge probably kind of knows what I'm talking about. I'm just really, really glad that I planned this book in advance. I'm glad that I took those couple of nights to map the story out in vague bullet points. There's not a single point where I get stuck at the moment. There's certain parts that I need to still weave together, small little plot points for everything to make sense, but that's kind of happening quite organically. So at the moment it's going great. Like I said, I'm a bit behind on the word count, but I'm not upset about that at all. I think I'll catch up in some fashion, in some form. I'm just really, really happy with the progress. I'm really happy with where the book's going, and I'm feeling great, man. I'm feeling really pumped up about it at the moment, and long may it continue. I feel no feelings of wanting to stop whatsoever at all. Fully honest, it's going great. So badges, I've got some badges. Last badge I got was update your word count 3 days in a row. So I earned that on Friday, I think. And the next one is update your word count 7 days in a row, which I believe I'm going to hit tomorrow. Tomorrow will be day 7, exactly 1 week of Nano. And it's going really good. So the last video I made, I said I was going to talk a little bit about world building. Basically, I'm writing a science fiction novel, and it's set in a distant future where things are very different and very much the same. By that I mean it's a far-flung, far-fetched sci-fi concept that I really, really want to ground in everyday realism. And part of the fun about writing sci-fi and fantasy is you can build these worlds. And you can make up your own rules about how the society runs, how they are governed, what goes on, what the history is. You can base as much as you want on the real world and just change the names, or you can just completely make it up fresh. And this is really good fun, but the important thing is keeping true to your mission statement and keeping the continuity consistent. I wanted to somehow combine the idea of a rural village that pays homage to some of the small rural communities in the southwest of England, in the West Country, which is where I live. I really, really kind of fall head over heels in love with these little villages that we kind of visit on weekends and stuff when we go out for walks and day trips. Beautiful places to look at, just these really kind of tightly knit communities, lots of fun festivities going on. So I wanted to do that, but I also wanted to add a bit of a solar punk element. I've been reading up on solar punk, which is a kind of utopic antithesis to cyberpunk. You know, basically cyberpunk has been going on for decades and decades and decades, and it's all about the dystopian collapse of humanity and how technology and machinery exists in vast quantity, but it has done nothing to help the social deprivation of society. So cyberpunk's in everything, man. You've seen cyberpunk. We all know, you know, we've all seen cyberpunk movies in Hollywood and cyberpunk anime and books and everything. Solarpunk is the opposite. Solarpunk is all about positivity. It's about communities learning to coexist. It's about technology that has been built with consideration to nature and to wildlife and to the health and longevity of the planet. And the punk aspect is that there's a lot of kind of grit to it. You know, the more kind of technical and realistic you want to make it, the more sort of deeper you go into how these little small ecosystems work and how the technology benefits mankind. And I read a couple of solarpunk short stories and was really sort of inspired by the positivity of it, you know, positivity, like the almost like the kind of the far-flung fiction in response to some of the problems of today's real world is actually based around the concept of hopefulness and having a bright future, rather than going the kind of Mad Max way and saying, oh, everything's gonna collapse. So I got inspired by that, and my challenge was to take this kind of idea of a West Country society, the utopia solar punk thing, and make it all work and make it all seamless. So if you build your own world, you've got to create your own rules, and you've got to stick to those rules. Because readers aren't fools, and if it doesn't, you know, stay consistent, then it's gonna cause your world to collapse. Writers like Neil Gaiman and George R.R. Martin, who create these vast, sprawling places that are sort of like the real world and sort of not, talk about just having these few elements that you put onto the page that creates credence, so the imagination is allowed to build all the in-between. You don't have to describe the brickwork of every house and the name of every tree. You highlight what's important, and that gives room for the story to breathe and for the imagination to do the rest of the work. And that is a challenge that I'm really enjoying, and it's difficult. And the part of the fun of writing a first draft is that you can just, you know, go crazy on this, but don't go too crazy, because you got to tidy this up for the next draft. So I guess the thing I'm learning at the moment is to have fun and experiment and fling a few ideas at the wall and see what sticks. But keep in mind that this is something that is going to have to be tangible at the end if you really want to see your book through and get it all to work for the final preparations and the final drafts, which will kind of come in the next year, should I fulfill the challenge. So that's my observation on that, and everything else is going to hopefully continue in the same positive manner that it is so far. So yeah, there you go. This is my progress report, and I'm going to leave it there. I just want to say to everybody, I hope your NaNoWriting session is going well. If you have decided to call it a day already, then that's fine. That's life, you know. That's part of the process, is to, you know, balance this in between everything else you've got going on in your mind and everything around you. So it's all good. But at the same time, I hope that those who are still kind of rocking and rolling on this continue to do so. And yeah, that's it basically. That's all I got to say for the moment. So I'll give you another progress report in the week, and I hope everything is good. Tell me how it's going in the comment. Tell me how your story's going, and yep, I look forward to catching up with you guys next week. Until then, have a good day. If you liked this video, don't forget to hit subscribe. You can also visit thebooknetwork.co.uk and sign up to connect with the best new books and authors, receive exclusive material for your book clubs, promote your published novel, and get access to a free database of over 800 publishers so you can find the right publisher for your writing.